initiatives are springing up. Pinnacle Oil and Gas has joined the fray. The company reiterated its unwavering commitment to providing high-quality petroleum products to consumers. This was after Dangote Refinery issued a statement stating that Pinnacle Oil deceitfully approached it and pleaded that it extend its pipeline from the refinery to its tank farms to blend its high-quality products with imported products and sell them to Nigerians. But in another statement, Pinnacle highlighted that Lekki Free Zone Terminal, launched in 2021, was designed to streamline Nigeria's petroleum product distribution by allowing direct, full-capacity offloading from larger vessels. This new capability eliminates the need for costly ship-to-ship transfers that were once necessary due to draft restrictions at other Nigerian ports, which increased shipping and delivery expenses. In an effort to further optimize distribution, Pinnacle stated its proposed and funded pipeline connections from the Dangote Refinery with the aim of reducing reliance on trucking and shipping. Pinnacle reported that Dangote agreed to the plan and signed a 13-year interconnection agreement. The back and forth, BKO. But let's start this way. What do you make of the clarification made by Pinnacle regarding the statement made by Dangote about the pipeline extension to its tank farm? Who is telling the truth here?
Well, Pinnacle has exercised its right of reply. And that is what it has done. Remember, Dangote Refinery issued a press release that an international trading company had recently hired a depot facility with the intention of using it to blend substandard products. Now, Pinnacle says, as the only depot close to Dangote Refinery, it was the one being referred to.
Exactly.
And it was obligated to clear the air because in that press release, Dangote didn't mention any name. They didn't name names. But if you said close to your facility, and people can look around, they can't find any other person. They will know who you are referring to. So they had to come out to say, look, for many years, we have been operating with integrity and compliance with regulations, and that they will never import or distribute any spec or substandard products into the market. What I see from Dangote's persistent talk about substandard petrol being imported into the country is like saying we do not have regulators at all. And that, look, people can bring any kind of substandard petroleum products into our country. One thing is certain, in the oil industry, crude oil is of different grades.
Okay, sure.
We talked about WTI from Texas. It's usually sold at between $5 to $6 lower than our own Bonny Light.
Bonny
Light and Brent crude are usually expensive. They are not the Saudi, UAE, Russia. They do not. The crude oil they produce do not measure up in terms of fidelity with our own crude oil. And that's why they describe our own crude oil as the Lamborghini of the industry, the Lamborghini of the oil industry, because it is the most sought after. It's a massive shame that we do not produce enough, but our crude oil is the best. Somebody was arguing with me because the person rushed to Google and saw where it was said that Malaysia had the best crude oil. What he didn't know is that that strain of crude oil from Malaysia is very small. what they produce is very little. So, in the grand scheme of things, when you look at the entire gamut of the oil industry, they are not even talking about that one. And you go and look at the template, the pricing template, it is burning light that you see. And burning light is the best. It's the Lamborghini of the industry. So it is futile to try to give the feeling that if it is not as good as our crude oil, then it's not good enough.
It is substandard.
Because if you are saying that, you are saying, oh, WTI, which is from Texas, is probably the worst, that is not good enough. No, now. No. They can never be of the same. Even within our country, Agbami will never be the same with Escravos. You know, they are different, and the geologists name them. They give them different names because these are not the same. It's not you produce them from different sources. There's no way they will be the same. So that is that. I've advised Dangote that, look, stop attacking these people. You are attacking marketers, you are attacking regulators, you are attacking everybody. You are a refinery for everyone. Your refinery is the pride of our country. You must find a way to build trust. Get everyone rallying around you, jumping in to help you make a success of this extremely expensive, put together refinery. The solution is not to diminish everyone in the sector. You took people to court. They didn't even know that that case was in court. It took a media outlet to leak the story. All of us, journalists, we didn't even know that that matter was there. You understand? That will hurt trust. Because when you say, oh, they should not allow them to import, remember their own livelihood is also tied to that.
Exactly.
And when Nigeria didn't have refineries, they were the ones. Exactly. They were the ones who saved us. So that's, I don't want to talk like somebody who has a dog in the fight.
Exactly.
But all I want is, let's resolve these issues. Let's not constantly say, oh, these people are bad, these ones are bad.
Okay. And
we've already explained that, look, it's not only Nigeria that is a big oil producer that imports. I've given the example of even Saudi Arabia. It's not as if they don't have enough. What is the population of Saudi Arabia? It has a small population compared to us. Yeah, they are the market leaders. They have sufficiency, but they still continue to import. So we cannot make it look like, how about America? Does America not import? Are they not an oil producer? So let's not make it look like, oh, if people are importing, then it's wrong. We have to find a way. And Dangote set up that refinery for a reason. As I've advised them, you cannot rely on Nigerian crude alone. Nobody relies on Nigerian crude because it's too light. It's too light. You must blend it with others.
All right.
So he has to find a way to have this matter resolved with all of the players, because fighting people, calling people, all this name calling will not lead us anywhere. Because those guys, they claim that that there was a deal to allow them to use that, to use the pipeline. Yeah. And that Dangote actually wrote to the regulator so that the regulator can give the approval. But I don't know now. Exactly. You are saying you've been deceived. All right. They deceived you.
All right. All right. BK. Let's go on this quick break. When we return, the conversation continues. Don't go anywhere. It's still Journalist Hangout. All right, welcome back. It's still Journalist Hangout. Adeolade, the statement from Pinnacle about the resolve never to sell substandard product. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, when you read two companies that are involved in what I call trade war, you can, as a journalist, you can make up your mind about who is actually telling you the truth. The first question is there a need for pipeline connection from Dangote refinery? The answer is yes, because it's going to reduce trucking and also going to reduce shipping, and then the end product is going to stabilize the price. The second question is that did Dangote write 2 letters, not 1, to regulators, no objection letter? That's the claim of Pinnacle. I don't think they will have made that claim if it is false.
True.
Yes. Then, is there a regulatory approval? There's a regulatory approval. So, I think on that basis, and also a 13-year agreement. 13 years, not 1 year, not 2 years, not 10 years, 13-year agreement. So one thing one would like to advise is that for our economy to thrive, there's a need for mutual competition.
Yes.
You cannot run away from that in a capitalist economy. And I also think that when you set up a company, you may not expect stupendous profit in the first 2, 3, 4 years.
Not even in that sector.
Yes. I remember an interview with M.K. Abiola in those days. He said, when they set up Concord, for many years there was no profit. Concord newspapers. The same thing with so many other, the newspaper. In fact, for years, first 5 years or so, no profit. So, even TVC. So, you know, the nation, all of them. So, you should not think that, oh, I've set up this thing that I want to see profit coming immediately. It will take a long period. And there's no way in an economy of over 200 million people that you can stop people from also doing the same business that you are doing. If people have been doing that, NNPC have been doing that, they will not allow Dangote refinery to even come on stream.
Yes, because it's a competitor.
It's a competitor. So if people are making bad words for you, you should also realize the need that it's give and take. So if not, the goodwill that you already have with the Nigerian public will fade away.
I think even this and the difference maker in this is pricing.
Yeah.
As far as I speak for the ordinary people, let's see who has the cheaper price of ours. The marketers are saying, look, our price will be even lower than that of NNPC. If their price will be lower than that of NNPC, it will be foolhardy of me to be campaigning against them because people are already angry that this product is too expensive. So if somebody offers something lower than what we currently have, do you think Nigerians will object to that? So, and I've said that the way Dangote can blow these people out of water is to offer
reduced.
Yes, if you reduce your price, because since September we said tell us your price. They didn't give us price until I think last week. Since September. Now, after giving that price, this guy said with the landing cost now that they are prepared to sell lower than that price. And I do not blame Dangote if he sells at that price because our crude oil, if you are depending on our crude oil, is the most expensive. All of these people will go and they will bring crude oil from Russia, they will bring from UAE and other places. Those ones are not as expensive as our crude oil. So it is natural that their own will be lower.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, let's extend this conversation a bit more. We have Majid Dahiru joining us from our Abuja studio. Good afternoon, Majid.
Good afternoon.
So, Majid, it's so great to have you. The Pinnacle and Dangote scenario, the clarification made by Pinnacle, what are your thoughts on it?
Okay, the first thing to note is that from a technical point of view, it is practically impossible to blend refined petroleum further than it has been already blended into any other useful product because it has to be contaminated products. So I do not think that a company such as Pinnacle will invest over $5 million trying to connect with a major refinery like Dangote refinery for the purpose of contaminating products is going to get from Dangote. What you blend in a mini blending plant that are installed in some parts of the world is naphtha. So naphtha is a derivative of hydrocarbon that has gone through some level of processing. And to now produce petrol from naphtha, you can blend it with other components. It has to go through some other technical and scientific processing. So essentially, it is impracticable, it is impossible to blend refined petroleum, as alleged by Dangote, against Pinnacle and make any good product out of it. So that is on one hand. Secondly, Pinnacle is a very respectable company that has been operating in Nigeria for many years. And so one of its strongest points is having a huge storage capacity. It has a design capacity of 1 billion liters of product, while it has been able to construct out of that design a facility that can hold 300 million liters of products. And it is situated just next door to Dangote. So I think in the thinking of the promoters of Pinnacle, They simply wanted the collaboration with Dangote Refinery, the kind of collaboration that can spur the Lekki-Ekpe Free Trade Zone into a Rotterdam-like, oil and gas hub for Africa. So it was like a corporation of some sort, whereby if Pinnacle, which is also a marketer, wants to procure products from Dangote, it can easily use that pipeline mechanism or network to get these products on one hand. Secondly, if Dangote requires extra storage facilities beyond his own installed capacity, it can easily use the same network of pipelines to get Pinnacle facilities to store excess of his refined products. That was the kind of relationship that was supposed to exist between both entities. So, since Pinnacle is also a major marketer, they would have also been able to use the facility to help Dangote distribute his products across the country seamlessly, as they've done with their own imported products. That was essentially what that arrangement was all about, and not for the purpose of siphoning a already refined product to go and further blend. It is scientifically impossible. So I don't think any company worth its salt will actually embark on such a futile misadventure of an enterprise. So I think that in itself is self-explanatory. But beyond the ongoing conversation, I've listened carefully to what my elder brother Jide has said, and my other elder brother there in Lagos, Adewale. And I don't know, maybe the promoters of the Dangote refinery did not do their due diligence before coming into this business. I say this because we've had one fight too many coming from the Dangote refinery and the promoters. If they're not fighting the NUPRC and oil majors, they are fighting marketers and the NMPC and the regulators, the NMDPRA, and all sorts of fights have been thrown around. And it gives me an impression that Dangote is not willing to live and let others live, and it's not healthy for the sector. And if you look at this complaint, I read through his communication, what seems to be at the heart of this whole crisis is the fact that Pinnacle is a major marketer of refined products that it imports from other jurisdictions. So I think it's just an extension of the war against marketers that are importing products that has just made a landfall in Pinnacle. And there's something interesting that he wrote in his letter, and he personalized it against the personality of the MD, the managing director of Pinnacle, Mr. Dickerman, who happens to be an American. So Dangote cited a very emotional issue of countries needing to protect local industries. So he cited America's effort to protect the steel industries at home against Japanese and Chinese competitive incursion. But again, something that Dangote may have failed to take note of is that in America, there is no such restriction on energy products and services, because energy is the engine room for any economy. So you cannot compare the role of steel and energy in economic development. So in America, for instance, there is no restriction on importation of refined products. America is a major exporter of refined products, like Jide rightly pointed out, has pointed out of this program. For example, in 2023 alone, America with 132 refineries exported refined products in excess of 10 million barrels per day. But at the same time, America also imported 8.5 million barrels per day of refined products from all over the world. It's the same story with India. India has the largest refinery in the world with a capacity of 1.4 million barrels per day processing. India is a major exporter of refined products. So India exports $13.1 billion worth of products, as well as imports over $80 billion worth of products. It's the same thing with Russia. Russia is a major exporter of refined products because it has over a dozen refineries operating at home. Whereas Russia exported over $60 billion worth of oil and gas refined products, it also imported $1.7 billion worth of products. It's the same thing with Saudi Arabia. Again, Mr. Jide has talked about Saudi Arabia all week long. Saudi is the fourth largest exporter of refined petroleum products in the world. Saudi is also the 48th largest importer of refined petroleum products. So, for instance, Saudi exported $45 billion worth of refined products in 2022 and imported $4 billion worth of refined products in the same year. Saudi exports to India and imports from India. Saudi exports to China and imports from China. Saudi exports to United States of America and imports from United States of America. The reason is simple. For energy security's sake, supply must always at all times be in excess of demand. For as long as a year. That is, at no time must you stop importation or sourcing of energy products, both locally and overseas, so that you can have supply in excess of demand for as long as 1 year. And this is where storage facilities such as the ones that are owned by Pinnacle and other marketers, so that all those tank farms that are owned by marketers all over the coastal towns of Nigeria comes into very useful assets for Nigeria. You see, unlike America, that has a strategic petroleum reserve that is owned by the government, Nigeria does not have a strategic petroleum reserve. So the truth is you must use these facilities as holding facilities for what can now become like a national strategic petroleum reserve. So that if, for instance, in 3-6 months, you have a disruption in supply chains, either from importation or local production, you can have something that will carry you until you find another way of accessing supplies of energy. So America has 132 refineries. Yes, it imports. Saudi Arabia has 5 working refineries at home. Yes, it imports. Nigeria cannot rely on one refinery, either today or in the future. The problem has been that, look, we cannot also over-rely overtly on importation. So there has to be a mix of both. And so in a deregulated environment, importation and local refining must go hand in hand. And do not forget, too, that the PIA does not mandate Dangote to offload all of its refined products into the Nigerian market. Dangote refinery is located in the free trade zone and is at liberty to export all of its products if it deems it fit. And so you cannot necessarily tie the energy security fate of an entire country of 200 million put to one refinery. You see, the market is big enough. Dangote will always make his own money. Other investors will make their own money. And like Jide again said, it's about pricing. You cannot but guarantee Nigerians fair pricing, have removed subsidy from petroleum products. If there was subsidy, for instance, coming in from Dangote, it's a different ballgame. There's no subsidy. So for a Nigerian like me and most others, my concern is fair pricing. And only competition can guarantee fair pricing in the deregulated environment we find ourselves today. Otherwise, we would have deregulated the market and then re-regulated it for Dangote to thrive as a monopoly. That should not be healthy for energy security as a country.
Vicky, you want to add to that?
I think that my advice to Dangote is what I will give again. Mr. President stepped in the other day. I expect that they will be able to come together. When you are in this industry, you cannot run it alone. Except if you made up your mind to sell all that you produce, all that you refine.
For the outside.
Yes, but if you want to sell to marketers here, those rhetorics need to stop. They are not helpful.
True.
They are not helpful. You've taken them to court, they suddenly realize that, oh, this person took us to court. Oh. You know, they have filed a counter suit now, you know, trying to get the court to not withdraw their license. As Mojid said, we must strike a balance.
Okay.
We must not overly depend on imported petrol.
Okay.
But that does not mean that we should stop any form of importation. The argument is clear. For energy security, we cannot rely on one refinery. And the NNPC have shown spectacular incompetence in running their own refinery. So technically, we are depending on one refinery. All of the modular refineries that we have, none of them has been able to produce petrol. Okay. So if we have a situation where we are relying on one refinery and something happens, what do we do? Maybe I say, get to my point, Claire, before you run to the next topic. What if there is a technical hitch with the sole refinery that we are relying on, and we are saying we said, okay, we are not issuing licenses for importation? What if something happens?
Energy crisis.
We won't be able to deal with the situation. We won't at all. It's a situation that no country wants to find itself in. And the Indians, the Saudis, and the rest of them who are still importing, despite being big-time oil producers, they are not fools. It is because they want to achieve energy security. So, Mr. Dangote needs to work with these marketers, calm them down, assure them of fair pricing, assure them that they have no reason to distrust him.
Okay.
Once he's able to do that, all of this ulabalu will stop, and they will patronize him. But I think that he believes that, oh, these people don't want me, they don't like me, and all that. I don't think that is helpful.
All right, thank you. All right, Majid Dahiru, thank you very much for having this conversation with us. Appreciate you as always. All right, let's move straight to our final topic. It's less than a week